We are live.
There we go. Bit of
Oh,
extra live. That
hello.
helped.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Niome. We're the Divines.
That we are.
And we're here today just to talk to you about the incredible energies that have been going on around us lately. We're calling the start of this energy the cleanse. We're in the process of building our month around all of these clearing energies because we're experiencing so much in our personal lives. So we're bringing it into our business as well on different levels. But we're just wanting to talk a little bit about what's going on, what it feels like, what it means to us, and what we're doing to navigate through this extraordinary time.
Yes, that's right. I guess we've been feeling it for probably the last month or so. We had Cyclone Alfred or Alfie come through, which had brought a lot of rain and sort of, stirs a lot of feelings and emotions with this. Yeah, that's right. With this sort of weather, and it has not stopped since. And I guess that allows people to stay inside a little bit more. It takes them out of their normal habits of going out in the sun and doing things, and maybe even interacting with friends. So a lot more. So they're bought in. We've been bought in, and I guess it simply has brought up a lot of emotions that may be surfacing through a little bit more stillness in our lives. Due to the weather, due to just the current energy in the field, what's going on right now?
In some ways. But I think going back to the Alfie analogy, it was a bit of a whirlwind, like an internal whirlwind where you can feel that things are stirring. They're stirring around and around. And I think I just started like cleaning the house, like I think about a week before we even knew that there was a cyclone coming. I had this like intense urge to just clean and clean and clean, which is really not like me. It's not one of my favorite tasks or anything that I enjoy doing.
Who does?
But I just was like loving it. And I just felt this need to be decluttering and cleaning out. And then the whole cyclonic energy came through with Alfie. And then I realized, there's actually a lot more going on. Not just in my own life, but probably in many people's lives, because we're pretty in tune to ourselves and to the collective, but know that, when we're experiencing something, then a lot of people are experiencing the same thing, especially soul family. And if you're watching this, and you probably are our soul family.
That's right. I mean, I even delved into my creativity and my beading room to sort of like give it a bit of a clear shuffle through, and that usually takes a lot sometimes, doesn't it? Usually I'm like deep in amongst beads and everything else, but I too wanted to go through a lot of things. Naomi and I have been through paperwork, we've been through the garage, we've been through every single, what do you call that? A nook and cranny?
Every nook and cranny, that's correct.
All those little boxes hiding in the corner, that dark corner of the spare room. We've gone through all of them. And
the garage.
That's right, the garage and all those little places. And it was almost like a treasure hunt to find things, to look at them, acknowledge them, I guess, embrace them, and perhaps even let go of them. It's that sort of energy going on at the moment. And I have to say, I've had quite a number of times where I've had tears in my eyes and just really feeling into my own emotions. I've become a lot more still, I would say, in my mind, and just over these last couple of months, I'd say. And a lot is sort of coming up for me personally. And when we talk to our friends and even our family, the same thing seems to be going on for them. There's massive changes, and massive changes don't always look like a 360. It can actually just be a movement, like a drop of sand. You know how they say one grain of sand is enough to change the world? Well, it's sort of like that. And it's happening at an alarming rate at the moment to so many people.
Yeah, that's right, Amy, like a little bit at a time, but like that cyclone, it's sort of really gaining momentum and coming in like a whirlwind. And so it started for us with the house cleaning, and then we realized that there's a lot of space being occupied in our minds just with different people, perhaps people that we're in business with. We have noticed the most that we think about far too often. And so we have really realized from from a much more positive space. So we've come into it from a space where we understand that they just have to be let go. And it's all part of this clearing and cleansing out. It's not just clutter and things in the home. It's also our own internal dialogue and our own internal programming. Even we could go down that road too, because I feel like, especially with some people too, that trigger you all the time, then it's a really good opportunity to look at your own triggers and understand what's coming from you, what's coming from them, and how to move through it and how to remove those aspects from within, so that the internal dialogue that I was talking about, and even the external dialogue that we have between ourselves, just if there's too much talk and it's too negative about people or things like that in our lives, then it's time to really reevaluate and decide how to move through that. Can we mend a relationship, or is it time to remove that relationship entirely? But for all of the right reasons, with a really good understanding about what is working, what's not working, and why. And I think particularly too, if you are moving through a personal relationship with somebody really close to you, then it's really important as well to really assess and assess what can be repaired, especially if it's a loved one, because we love our people for a reason, and if we can repair a relationship, then we should do that. And oftentimes it is something to do with ourselves if it's a trigger, but if it's just external to ourselves, obviously, then that is different.
What I've been noticing is, for myself, is allowing myself to have time and space. So, and that's been a very difficult thing for me to do over the course of most of my life, because I've always been super busy. I have been always wanting to just, hit a different mark each time, and have been a workaholic. And so it's sort of been, it's over the years, it's been a process, but over the last couple of weeks, it's been a bigger process because I've needed to take time for me, and really feeling into it and actually bringing awareness to what and who is actually taking up, I guess, space in my head mostly, and acknowledging who they are, and why there's so much of this or of that person in my head. And so we've both been feeling into this of late, and going, we've been shown so many times, and I guess when we think about just how valuable a peace of mind can be, and how easy it can be, I guess, interrupted when you are not speaking your voice. And that's purely, I guess, a big thing that can go on many people's lives if they're not using the right voice, or being really feeling into what they're needing at any given moment in time. So we've also been doing that, and that has made space and cleared space and we've honoured people that we've worked with and some people in our life, because it's nothing wrong with acknowledging that we're not on the same page or going down the same path. It's okay. It's a beautiful thing in life, but to know that we shared that path at some stage in time.
Oh, I think some paths are just you can keep walking down that path, and you keep coming to the same park bench or the same tree on the side of the road, and it's like you're walking around and around in circles. And sometimes you have to realize that there's another path, and you are quite welcome to go down that path and keep moving down there.
So that's what's been sort of coming up when it comes to do with clearing.
Yes,
removing that excess noise, removing any excess mind chatter. And that mind chatter may not necessarily be for you, but if it is, if it's coming from something way back, then it's there for a reason. But if it's coming from an external aspect, from someone else or something else, then you really need to look at that and see if it's really worthwhile having it take up rent in your head. If it is a lot, because you deserve to have peace.
But on the other side to that too, we have also been taking a deeper look at our own relationship, and just little things that we can do, not just on a personal level, but also on a business level together, just how we can actually come together more and collaborate more. I guess you can imagine it is, even though it's like pretty good most of the time, but is certainly not without its challenges when you live, work, and breathe each other 24/7, because that is literally what we do. Although we have migrated from a shared space to a separate space, like for working. So I have my space and Amy has her space, and that creates a little bit more harmony.
Well, that's how it should be as well. We just have our own space.
Especially when Amy just wants to listen to YouTube videos herself while she's working, and I listen to music or something else differently. But there is definitely like with the cleansing also opens up space to allow new energies to come through. And I think that's what we're really experiencing right now. We've been spending a lot of quiet time too, just looking at the inner processes as well, individually and together, and then coming together on a totally different level business-wise. It's almost like we freed up some space to allow more things to come in, as is always the case. Whenever you let go of anything at all, then you create room for more light to come in, and that's what's been happening, more light. So we're bringing fresh ideas, and hence even the beginning of this today, a proper live. We're actually talking about something more significant than just saying hi.
So that's the thing. And YouTube has always been something that's been in my mind, been in our minds for quite a long time, which is finding the right time and space. I could easily say that when is the right time? Well, it's right now, isn't it? However, at times when there is a lot going on, and there is a lot of, I guess, things that haven't been addressed or looked at or anything like that, perhaps it wasn't the time, and perhaps just needed something like Cyclone Alfie to come along and instigate it. But through that, I guess what I'm saying is, through these last processes, this feeling, and if you're feeling the same, please let us know. Clearing out physical items, going through things, having memories, experiencing those things that you're looking at, and just acknowledging and honoring the past has really allowed a lot of space within myself, within Niome and us together, to be able to now have all these influx of ideas come through, not only for our personal life, but also for our business, which is why we're sitting here today, because we have the space to be able to do it, and we could actually see a light at the end of the tunnel, which was quite simple really in the end, wasn't it? We just had to press play, but it seemed so hard every other time, and we really wanted to do that, to create some videos, because we have a lot to share, but it just seemed very difficult. But clearing that space and having a bit more silence and peace in our lives has really brought in a whole shift in energy and calmness, really.
Well, it's also about divine timing too. So it is, I feel, absolutely the right time now, because, as part of this whole cycle of cleansing out, there is, of course, the end result, which is almost like a rising and an alignment to a new path, a higher path, for each and every one of us, at the exact right moment in time when we are meant to rise and realign. And I feel like there's a bit of that happening for us right now. And so perhaps now is the time where we have freed up some space to free up our own voices and share a lot more with you, just about different aspects that are going on today, tomorrow, yesterday, or right now.
That's right.
Yeah. So we have begun with this video. Amy's also written a blog. So there's a part 1. So we're doing like a 4-part blog session. Is that the right word?
Yes.
4 parts of blogs, 1 each week. So there's one online right now. It's on our website, divinecrystalheart.com.au, under our blog section. So we're talking about just what we've been talking about now. So the big cleanse, and part 2, part 3, part 4 will culminate in the end part of this whole talking about what we're experiencing right now.
And going through the journey. So we're just putting out there and asking, I guess you who are watching this, if someone's watching this, are you feeling the same way? Please leave a comment. Are you feeling the same way? Have you been, how long have you been feeling like this? What have you been doing in order to really embrace the cleanse, as we call it now? Please let us know in the comments. But apart from that.
Okay, so we've got some little notes here. So as many of you know too, we are a crystal business as well. So we also do like to talk about the different crystal energies that we can bring in for ourselves to support us going through these different phases. So for part one, which is really just, all about that deep dive into self. So part of the clearing out of self is really looking at the shadow aspects of ourselves, things that are ready to just come up to be seen. And obsidian, I find, is one of the most supportive crystals for doing that deep inner work. It's all about taking a really good deep dive, being supported, but also being led to aspects that we, perhaps don't even want to look at sometimes. It is very difficult looking at ourselves with a magnifying glass and really pinpointing aspects of ourselves. What we have trouble with is looking at them from a place of neutrality instead of, feeling shame or guilt or a negative emotion that might be associated, or even sadness, trauma. Being able to bring those things up and work through them to a point where we don't feel triggered by it one way or another, where we're able to just really look at it objectively and understand a whole process about how it came to be, even from many different lifetimes, or even just many different generations within our own family, is often very helpful way to really look at a whole story, because there's always a story behind a story behind a story. So there's always one thing that led to another, that led to another, and that carries on through our ancestral line. Our mother became our mother because her mother, because blah blah blah, and it's this part of this rising above is arising out of all of that programming and just letting it all go. So obsidian, I find, is the go-to crystal for me to really support during that deeper work. And then we've got some Apache tears as well for just this first bit, which is really there to support for a deeper like sadness or grief in particular.
Yeah, so I think with Apache tears, I think that's really it's perfect for me to talk about. I think Apache tears, is a really supportive obsidian-like crystal that is really good for just assisting your own energetic field if you're moving through grief or sadness, or even a feeling of loss. Just all those sort of feelings and emotions that we all experience at times. I have to say, Apache tears really comes in strong for me, I guess, in so many ways at the moment, as I'm moving through a bit of a difficult time in my life. But I'm also, it's really interesting, I'm also revisiting a sort of similar time from my life from about 23 years ago. So it's a time in my life where my brother passed away and I was unwell, and I was having different tests done on me to see what was wrong, which was all it was not all it was, but it was just grief and sadness. But it was affecting my body. And that was so long ago. And I seem to be hitting that same sort of energy and feelings and emotions again. And the same things are happening again. And I've really been just thinking about the loss and the grief that I felt all that time ago. That really rocked my world in such a deep level. And so I'm revisiting those emotions at the moment, and the person that I was, and how proud I am of that person that dealt with such a heavy load at such a young age. And so I've been moving through those sort of emotions at the moment, revisiting the exact same, almost like the same story 23 years later. So Apache teas are a really good supportive crystal for anything, whether it's in the now time, when it's to do with grief or sadness, and just feeling, just like your heart is a bit, just a bit softened at the moment. It's for now time, it's for what was, but it's really about feeling into it and just seeing it for what it is, and embracing yourself, loving yourself, and just really honoring yourself through all experiences.
Yeah. And then coupled with those two, we would go for selenite to just really bring in more clarity to the situation. Selenite's such an amazing, beautiful stone.
I love
to work with. Not only does it cleanse and clear, it brings in a lot of clarity. Especially when you are working deeply with those other two crystals, perhaps, then the selenite is there as sort of like a rock, but also like your guiding light to shine the light properly on everything that you're looking at as well. And yes, bring in the balance. And literally the light and the dark with the white and the dark crystals.
That's right. It's a really beautiful trio combination of stones to have to do any of that inner work, that deep journeys of self, which can seem like a very lonely road at time, can't it? It's just and sometimes you do have to do it alone. But these videos are, well, what we're going to create and what we're creating now are what we would like to show as a support to know that you aren't alone, that we too have been experiencing what you've been experiencing and vice versa, and we've got a lot to share, I think, of our life. That's and to just simply know that we're walking this path with you.
So I think if you want to work with those three crystals quite deeply, then you could utilize like some obsidian on your forehead, so smaller pieces, a tumble or something flat. You could have the Apache tears over your heart, and you could hold the selenite, or you could have that in your heart space as well, and just really try and connect in via meditation, or just going deep within into a meditative state yourself, looking for your deeper answers. I guess looking for the answers to questions that you might have that you want to answer about yourself. And so you can really perhaps magnify the intent of those in those particular areas on your body, because the third eye region is all about insight. And the heart region, that's what the Apache is for, is there as that heart support. And then the selenite, wherever you probably feel best, where it will most support, whether that's just holding in your hand or coupling with one of the other two.
They're also connected to the root chakra as well. And the root chakra is, a place where we do hold on to a lot of emotions. It's like it's buried deep down. So, it's a place where you can also connect into and move that energy from the bottom and move it on up, and out. That's also a good place to also connect into Gaia, into Mother Earth, whilst you're on this inner journey, and in deep expansion.
That's true. But, they're just guidelines. Obviously, or not obviously, if you don't know, you just have to trust your own intuition about where to use, how to use, what to do with them. We all have our own deeper knowing of crystals. Those of us that are really drawn to crystals, I feel like it's something that we've done before, probably many, many times in many different lives. So we all have a lot of knowledge about crystal usage and everything like that, stored away somewhere in there.
That's right, but it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
We can only just talk about our perspective and our thoughts and emotions and feelings. But in the end, you know what's best for you.
That's right.
So and just trust yourself and trust your intuition. You know best. All right.
Okay, well, we probably should go, because we do have a live in about 50 minutes. And we do have a little bit of setting up still to do.
So thank you so much for joining us, and we both hope to see you on our little journey next time for our next installment for the cleanse.
Yes, now don't forget, blog is on our website, divinecrystalheart.com.au, and our Facebook page is divinecrystalheart.retail.
Yeah, that's
we'll
correct.
pop up first anyway.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching us. And if you made it this far, thank you very, very much.
Well,
please subscribe to our page, share your views, share your comments, and follow us on socials as well.
We'll be continuing this story next Wednesday.
Yes, or Monday, whichever comes up first.
Oh, yeah, Monday.
However we feel at the time. All right, take care. Bye. I did it.
I couldn't see it.